and we're gonna rank my May palettes. I have 16 to rank, so if you guys are nosy, just keep watching. If you are new to my channel, welcome. My name is Karen Harris. I like to film tan girl-friendly makeup videos here on YouTube. I do post quite often, so highly recommend subscribing, turning on the bell so you're notified every time I post. I also have a monthly giveaway every month, so definitely check the description box for that. Without further blabbering, let's get into it. Okay, also, I have 16 palettes to rank. I think number 1 is going to shock you guys, but I decided to go ahead and follow my heart and really pick these based off of my interest in the formula, the color story. I didn't so much try to overthink this time, so let's see how I fare. Let's start off with the palette in the 16th spot. So this palette is definitely a regret of mine. I was like, oh, let me get it, and I finally filmed with it. I did a 4 looks, 4 palettes video. I've only filmed a look with this palette, but I was way more excited by this color story before I put this on my eyes. After I put this on my eyes, I was like, You know, I keep looking for that unicorn color pop formula, which was in the, what is that palette? The fun one. I'm totally forgetting, but I feel like there's like 3 or 4 different kinds of color pop formula. There's the one I really like, the one that's okay, and then there's the rest of them. And I feel like this is in the rest of them category, like just very much a mediocre formula in my opinion. I think this is a very interesting color story, especially with cool tones being so in right now, but I was very disappointed with this palette and just left a lot to be desired. Okay, so 15 and 14 you could rank either which way. These are both from the same brand, and I did create 2 looks with each of these palettes for you guys. Now, I think that Alter Ego has its place in the world. Not everyone can afford to buy the original version of these palettes, so I get it. It's nice to have an alternate option, or you could try these out and decide if these color stories are for you. I don't think the quality is bad, but I don't think it's as good as Natasha Denona's formula, but it's fine. Like, if you're fine with the formula, that's fine for me. They do have a palette, I think it's a Canyon palette. I think that one is like my favorite palette from them. I thought the quality of those eyeshadows were very much up to what I like as far as the standard. So I don't think these ones were as enticing to me, but if you are on the market for these 2 color stories, then you can check these out. And I know there's a lot of creators out there that film videos with these palettes, so maybe watch a few reviews. I think they're okay, so I'm ranking them at 15 and 14. Okay, in 13th place, this one is such a snooze fest, you guys, but the quality is very nice, and I'm not gonna lie, neutrals definitely have its place in the world. A lot of people, as I go about my daily life, I observe that this is the type of makeup that most people wear. It's just very neutral, maybe 1 or 2 shadows all over the lid. So I get it. I have those moments too, and I can totally see myself reaching for this palette if I'm doing a quick and easy look like that. I think the quality is really nice. I would love for him to do a rainbow version, or like just do a colorful version just so we could have these mattes in color. But either which way, nice palette. Glad I tried it. I grabbed mine during the Sephora sale, so I finally actually used it and I'm able to rank it for you guys now. Okay, I do love Nomad. I'm actually wearing a Nomad palette right now. It hasn't been announced at the time I'm filming this video, so I'm not going to say much more, but this was their last launch. It is the Nomad Air, like, travel palettes. So they did these based off of different airports, which is super cute. So we have Oslo, we have the Canadian Rockies, and Abu Dhabi, I believe. So one's a neutral, one's like a green blue, and one's a cool tone. And I did create a few looks with these palettes, but I will say these are just not my favorite from Nomad, and that's okay. Not everything a brand can do is going to be my favorite, so I'm ranking these at number 12 altogether now. Okay, another palette that I honestly wasn't going to buy, but then they had a good sale, so I did grab it. This is the Melt Smoke Sessions 2. I remember when the Smoke Sessions 1 palette came out, I literally lost my mind. It's one of the most beautiful green palettes I've ever seen. I'm not as into purples, although I think it looks really nice with my complexion. So anyway, long story short, I was placing a melt order and these were available for like half off. So I grabbed the palette to try out and I did like the look I created. But overall, I just feel like Melt has not kept up with other indie brands. So we're ranking this at number 11. Okay, in 10th place, we have the Fresh Prince palette from Glamlight. This is a fun, colorful palette. Now, I feel like Glamlight has definitely fallen in that trap of repeating themselves. I see these color stories within other palettes that they've done in the past. So I don't know if they just need to slow down and just create less because they don't have to repeat themselves as much. Or maybe they're just creating for a different audience. It's totally possible. I've been buying their stuff for a really long time, so I feel like I have a lot. I literally just the other day photographed and listed so many of my older Glamlight palettes on Poshmark because they were like limited edition stuff, and I was like, oh my gosh, I've had so many Glamlight palettes. I'm pretty sure at one point I've owned every single palette they've come out with, so it's kind of wild. I've had a long history with them, but I just wish that they took more time between releases because I think it would help them. I think that there's brands that can do the back to back to back, but I feel like customers aren't as quick to jump and buy things as they used to be. So brands have definitely got to be feeling that, in my opinion. So we'll see, we'll see. I think they're teasing a new collection right now, so I'm curious to see what that all entails. Okay, in 9th place is the DD Signature Ultimate Cappuccino palette. I think that DD is definitely improving. Look at this pretty palette and this packaging. They've come such a long way, so I'm really excited, and they are a Black-owned indie brand, so I wanted to give them a shout out at the number 9 spot. Okay, this one's a little boring, but I have a lot of respect for the Cool Neutrals palette from Sigma. This was in my Shop My Stash for May, and I did reach for it quite a few times. I feel like I always look at my rankings as a reviewer, as a colorful makeup lover, but I gotta take my reviewer hat off and I gotta take my clown makeup loving hat off and just think of it as a regular everyday person. Even me as a mom of 2, when I'm doing my makeup, sometimes I want to just do something subtle and not always be loud and expressive. I feel like I do both. People ask me all the time, like, do you wear your makeup out? And if I have my face done, I'm going to wear my makeup like I don't care. Like, I will wear whatever I have going on for me. But I've gotten a little older. I've gotten a little more mature. So sometimes I do have this like internal battle in my head. I would be lying if I said I never questioned my crazy eye looks when I'm walking outside. But for the most part, like, my husband doesn't care. I don't care. But sometimes I'm like at like dance for my kid and I'm like, oh my gosh, I bet these parents are like, what? But I'm like, you know what? It's a dance studio. If I can't wear makeup here, I don't know what's going on with the world. And people don't like ever say anything or anything like that. It's just me having an internal conversation in my head. But anyway, sometimes I'm just doing things with friends or we're going to like a party or something and I just want something quick and easy. I definitely use this a bunch of times in the month of May. I'm ranking this at number 8. It's a great palette. Honestly, if you're a mom on the go, this is a great palette because it does have a brush and you can do a full eye look with this brush. I think that's a wonderful little thing. There's a lot of palettes now that don't have brushes in them. I feel like that's such an old school thing to have a brush in a palette, but it's so handy for everyday consumers. So that's why I said sometimes I just have to put on like my regular everyday person hat on instead of thinking of it as somebody that reviews eyeshadow palettes, because I feel like for me, when I see an interesting color story, I'm like a magpie. I'm drawn to it, but that's not always what everybody else is looking for when it comes to eyeshadow reviews. So I always have to balance that out in my head. And I just feel like for an everyday, regular, schmegular eye look, this is a great palette. Okay, in 7th place is the Forbidden Love palette from Clarity Cosmetics. It's just a fun little purple palette. I will say, I feel like Clarity's come a long way. It seems like they've hired a social media person. Their customer service seems like it's come a long way. So obviously everybody has their own experiences. I've had some bad experiences in the past shopping from them as a consumer. I do feel like things have changed. Obviously, it hasn't been that long. I haven't been like shopping from them for that long. I just got this palette and I got another palette in the mail, and I just feel like every interaction I've had with them recently has been very positive. So I'm just gonna put that out there. Doesn't mean you have to go buy anything. I'm just letting you know what I have observed so I feel a little bit more comfortable talking about them. I know I've mentioned in videos in the past that I've heard rumblings about people having bad experiences with them. So I just wanted to say it seems like they've fixed things a little bit more than in the past. So that's my 2 cents. Do with it what you will. It's a nice palette. It's not like, oh my gosh, you need this now. So I'm ranking it at number 7. Okay, in 6th place is a really cute palette. This is Fantasy Cosmetica's Cradled in Ice. I was gonna say Cradled in Fire, and I was like, no. Okay, so I'm like all about all of these like fun purpley blue cool tone palettes. I am so happy. I've definitely seen this color story going around, so we've got a few brands doing this type of thing. I just think Fantasy Cosmetica is a solid indie brand. I love their packaging. I love their themes. They're a gaming inspired women owned brand, so always fun to support small businesses, and they came out with some singles with this collection as well as face and eye brushes, so this was a fun collection, and that's why I'm ranking it at number 6. Okay, in 5th place, I am actually a little shocked because I feel like every time I have a Inslee Rain palette, it's in the number 1 spot in my rankings, but I think all of the other palettes I have from them are just so good that this one, I was a little bit underwhelmed. It's not a bad palette. I definitely think it's a nice palette, but when I think of all of the other color stories I've seen Inslee Rain do, this one just kind of fell in the, it's fine, like it's fine, I'm happy I have it. But if you're thinking like, Karen, I can only buy one Inslee Rain palette, I don't think I would suggest this one, is all I'm saying. I need to do an Inslee Rain ranking video. I will do it eventually. I just really have a hard time ranking things, so I need to like spend some time doing it, and time is unfortunately a luxury I don't have a lot of, so I'm just trying to stay afloat right now. When it comes to YouTube, I'm just trying to get the content out, keep up my schedule, so it's coming. I hear you. I'm sorry. And yeah, I'm just gonna keep trying to upload as much as I can and do more videos that you guys like to see, of course. Okay, in 4th place, we've got the Moonshroom palette. I just think this is so cute. I'm all about these like spicy neutrals, like neutral palettes with a twist. I've started a little pile because I want to make a video about it. There's just been so many good like spicy neutral palettes recently. I'm so pumped about it. So yeah, this is super duper cute. This is the Lunar Beauty Moonshroom palette, in case I forgot to tell you guys, and I just think this is so cute. Like, I love the yellows with the mustardy greeny baby poop colored shades. Like, it's just so good. So good. I had another kind of spicy neutral palette that I was playing with just the other day. Oh, it's the one from Cosmic Brushes, the new Cosmic Brushes palette. Such a good spicy neutral palette. So yeah, I'm just all about this, and I'm definitely going to have a video talking about my favorite spicy neutral palettes in my collection. So keep an eye out for that. And then in 3rd place is this cutie from Simply Posh Cosmetics. It's been a while since we've heard from them. This is their Coastal palette. I think this counts as another spicy neutral palette with a pop of blue. This is cute. It's very simple. There were some people that mentioned that this reminded them of other palettes from this brand. I have not done the comparison, and also they're a brand that doesn't always have all of their palettes in stock. So I think when they did this, it is a pre-order that should be shipping like next month. So if you haven't placed your pre-order yet, you probably still could. And then they had 2 other palettes too that they were restocking. So not everything they've done just is constantly in stock. So maybe there's some kind of like rhyme or reason to how they lay out their palettes and things like that. I know a lot of people can find this boring, but there's also a lot of people that love when things are laid out in a gradient. So to each their own, but I think this is a really cute palette and it's perfect for summer. So this was my number one palette in April, and it's in second place in the month of May, but I can't help it. This is such a fun palette. I see Bella Beauty Bar is working on some new things. Very excited. I am such a fan of this brand, especially their eyeshadow palettes. The quality is so good. I had so much fun with this. I actually wore this on my daughter's first birthday. I think I did like a pink eye look. I had a lot of fun with it. So yeah, I was like, oh my gosh, it's her birthday. I'm gonna go all out. But I put this in my Shop My Stash for May, so I need to film an update and like update my bag. I feel like I should give up on the monthly Shop My Stash just because it's been so hard for me to find time to film anything really. So it just gets prioritized a lot less, but I'll keep you guys posted. I've just had a lot of fun with this palette and I've used it a bunch more since I've had it in my Shop My Stash. And then in the first place, like I said, this color story is very intimidating, but I really like this formula and I don't think I've ever ranked any of their palettes in the number one spot, but I wanted to give it to the Crow palette from Wicked Widow. I have an affiliate code with this brand, but it does not apply for this collection, and I'm sorry that I was not clear. I did not know that it didn't apply at the time, I don't think. So if you're trying to use my discount code, I'm sorry, I don't think you can. But this is a great palette, and I had so much fun kind of like digging into what this movie was about. I learned so much just from a simple Google search. But I know people say like you can't plead ignorance when it comes to anything on the internet, but I really just don't have the time sometimes to do the background research. But I did do it after I finished filming the video and I added a little clip. So if you haven't seen it, it's kind of fun. But I learned so much and I honestly had such a fun time interacting with the diehard Crow fans in my comments. It was so fun. I felt like I was a part of something. But anyway, this palette, I mean, these metallics just feel like butter. I don't know what else to say. They just, oh gosh, I almost just double swatched, but it's like so pigmented, so shiny, and a very scary color story. Let's be honest, okay? I'm feeling like not everybody out there is gonna want to wear a black, red, and like white palette, but such good quality. I just was very, very pleased. So I wanted to put this in my number one spot. Kind of different, kind of wild. I know, I'm shocked myself, but that is everything for my May eyeshadow palette ranking video. I hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know what was your favorite palette for the month of May, or if you have a current favorite eyeshadow palette, let me know down in the comments. Make sure you enter my monthly giveaway. It's on right now. Just a random little side note. If you're planning on entering my giveaway, please make sure your subscriptions are public. I honestly had to pick like 10 winners before I finally just picked somebody for the May giveaway because so many of you that had applied, I had like 75 entries for my May giveaway, but a majority of the people just did not have their subscriptions public. So I couldn't confirm if you were subscribed to my channel. So yeah, I just thought I'd let people know in case they just didn't know. It just makes it a little bit easier. If it ends up being too complicated this time, I'm gonna have to come up with a different way to do giveaways, which is fine. It's not a you problem, that's a me problem to figure out, but I figured I'd just mention it to people. And yeah, you guys can win some fun, cool stuff. So anyway, thank you for your support. Give this video a thumbs up, leave a comment, and I will see you in another video very, very soon. Bye, friends!